Students.
Okay, so you saw some teachers, some students, very good. So you can observe people, the people that you see every day. You can observe your parents, your family, your friends. You can observe everybody. And you don't just have to observe people, you could observe your pets. Or you could observe a houseplant, although the houseplant might not be quite as interesting, but you can observe pretty much anything and come up with a story idea about it. So for instance, let's say you see someone who has a really interesting scarf, and it's a scarf with all kinds of different colors on it. So maybe you're observing the person and you start observing the scarf. You might think, oh, what can I write a story about that scarf? So here's an activity. Look around your classroom. What do you see? Narrow your focus. So zoom in, kind of find an object like a globe or a potted plant, or a person like your teacher or the person sitting next to you to focus on. Observe the object or person, and what can you tell me about them, and how can you get an idea for a story? So look around your classroom, find something to zoom in on, to focus on, and tell me how you might be able to get a story from that idea.
Go ahead. What do you say?
Like, I see somebody like just standing there. You could just write a story about a girl just looking around with nothing to do, and then you find something to do.
Very good. You could come up with a story about a girl who was standing around and really had much to do and started observing and maybe saw some interesting things, and that could be a fun little story. Very good. So observation, looking around, seeing interesting things can be a really fun way of getting ideas. So next time you're somewhere, don't just say, oh, nothing's that interesting. Observe, look carefully, and you might discover something really, really interesting. Ask questions. Has anyone ever heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of an old saying. And I don't think it's quite correct, because it's okay to ask questions. We're not cats. In fact, it's great, because when you ask questions, you're learning new things and getting ideas. So you could ask what-if questions, like what if dinosaurs came back to life, or what if scientists invented a giant tomato, or dogs could talk. So let's come with our own what-if question. What do you think would be a good what-if question for a story?
What's a good what-if question for a story? What if what? What's a good question? Go ahead. Now. Yeah, what if?
What if a squirrel was flying all the way to another planet?
What if squirrels could fly all the way to another planet? That is an amazing idea. Yeah, I will squirrels fly. Okay, great. What is another what if question?
What is another what if? Who wants to say something? You always say, go ahead, nice and loud. Go ahead. Hurry up, hurry up. What is?
What if a dog can talk to people?
I think they already do, right? Like dogs touch people. Although I see maybe that you were thinking kind of like dogs. Let's think of another one, maybe something that isn't already happening.
Go ahead.
What if fish could walk?
Fish could walk. Nice. Okay.
What if the chicken?
All fish could walk. How about this? What if all fish could walk? And let's think of one more. Challenge. How about it has nothing to do with animals?
What if what? Go ahead. Here. Hurry up, and then you're next.
What if you don't have something to do and then something pops up to you and then you start doing it?
Could you be a little more precise? Like what pops up?
Like if a ball pops up and you don't have nothing to do, you just start playing with it?
Okay, so every time you don't have anything to do, something will pop up. Okay.
You hear that? What if it rained?
You just
Hey, what if it rained money?
What if it rains money? Okay.
What if it rains money?
Okay.
if you don't know someone's language, like you could just pop them up to your head and you can learn it.
Okay, so languages could pop into your head. Great. Well, you know what? My hand is getting a little tired from writing so fast.
It's
So,
okay.
I'm sorry, maybe I should have typed it instead of written it, but oh well, we have lots of games. We have what if squirrels could fly to another planet, what if all fish could walk, what if any time you didn't have something to do, then something would pop up and give you something to do, like if you weren't doing anything, maybe a ball could pop up and you could start playing with the ball. What if it rained money? Oh yeah, that would be amazing. It rains a lot. I live near Seattle. It rains a lot. Yeah, we want it to rain money instead of rain. What if people could fly? And what if languages could pop into your head anytime you met someone who didn't speak your language? These are amazing questions. And later, we will actually choose one of these, right, Matt? Yes, we will. But that's later. You can look forward to that. Another thing is that when you ask questions, you're in good company. The reason we have so many cool inventions and cures is because somebody asks, what if I could make this easier or better or running smoother? So it's good company. Even if we're writing stories, that's still a pretty cool invention. Read. Raise your hand if you like to read. I see everyone's hands raised pretty much. I'm so glad to see that. Reading is one of the funnest things to do. And so here is an activity, and this might be a little challenging, but think of a book you've read, think of one thing that you really liked about it, and think of a new story idea inspired by that.
So who knows the name of a book that you're in? The name of a book, a specific book. Now you're going to have to give everybody else a chance. Go ahead. What? Go ahead.
Penguins on the go.
Penguin, what was it?
Penguins on the go.
Penguins on the go.
Penguins.
Okay, great. So Penguins on the go. That sounds like a fun book. So what was something you liked about it, and how could you get an idea from it?
What did you like about it? One specific thing.
Because the penguins can hop out into the water.
The penguins can what?
Hop out of the water.
Okay, so that surprise kind when they pop out of the water. So how could you maybe get an idea for a story?
You could take them on a new adventure.
You could take them on a new adventure.
Very good. So maybe penguins on a new adventure. Very good. Okay, so you could think, oh, well, I like that they're using penguins. I like penguins too, so maybe I'm going to take penguins and have them on a new adventure. What is another book that someone has read?
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. I love fish. But after two. One fish, two fish, red fish, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. It's about to.
Oh my
the soup.
goodness, I don't know how I'm going to write that. Was it raw fish, red fish, glowfish, fish?
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
Okay.
One fish.
Okay, let me write that. One fish.
Two fish.
Oh, two fish.
Red fish,
Blue fish.
blue fish.
Okay, great.
She's got it.
Yes, okay. Good. Thanks. So, how can you get an idea from that? One thing you could write about is somebody who has to recite that and gets very has a hard time reciting that. But what is an idea you could get from one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish?
There are many colors of fish.
Many
There's
colors of
tropical
fish.
fishes.
So,
There's a lot of different fishes.
there are a lot of different fishes. So, how could you maybe think of a story of your own that would be a little different?
Like there's lots of fish.
No, that's not different.
Maybe you think about
fish can fly.
I'm sorry?
Fish make different.
A fish can have a birthday party.
Yeah, you could think of an idea that has to do with fish. You could have a fish having a birthday party. Maybe another thing you could do is animals being able to do different things. Like some animals can run really fast and some animals can jump really high. You could do like something kind of along that line. So yeah, we can get lots of new story ideas from the books that we read. Very good, everybody. So moving along now. Travel. Raise your hand if you've ever been on vacation. Okay, I see a lot of raised hands. Raise your hand if you'd like to tell us about a vacation that you liked a lot.
Not you. You did not go. All right, go ahead. Yes. There you go.
So I think Wildwood.
Yeah.
Wildwood.
Wildwood? Okay. And so what do you do in Wildwood?
Go to the beach.
You went to the beach. Very nice. And did you do swimming or sandcastles or something like that?
Swimming.
Okay. So that sounds very nice. Now, we can get lots of ideas from our vacations, and I like this question as far as getting ideas. What was a time your vacation did not go as planned? So if something ever went wrong, or if something kind of ended up being a little different than you guys planned.
I couldn't go to the beach.
You couldn't go to the beach. Why not?
Okay. She answered every question.
So couldn't go to beach. What would be another one?
I couldn't go to the zoo.
Couldn't go to the zoo. Okay. Let's see. Was there ever a time where you got lost? Has anyone ever gotten lost?
Huh? Where there was a place you ever got lost.
Nobody's ever gotten lost on a vacation? Wow, that's pretty good. Or, had some?
Tell her.
Speak up in your chair. Speak up.
When I was at the beach, we were walking down a boardwalk, and it has a whole bunch of lanes that you could go off, and we got lost because we didn't know which lane to go off.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you got lost on the boardwalk. That sounds kind of interesting. Great. So now you might wonder, again, what does this have to do with writing? Well, you can think it would be fun to write a story about some of the things that happened to me. So stories don't just have to be about made-up people. You can write about yourself. You can write about the time you got lost, or a time you couldn't go to the beach or the zoo for your story. So that would be a fun story. Or you could write about somebody else having the same thing happen to them. Watch. Now, this one, I want to start with kind of a riddle or a question. What is on TV, in newspapers, and on the radio? Any ideas?
Baseball.
Please. Say it louder. Say it louder.
I'm sorry?
Michael Jackson.
Say it again.
Michael Jackson died.
You know what? That is a very good point. That was on TV, newspapers, on the radio. But something like Michael Jackson died, or there was an earthquake in Haiti, or
Chile too.
Chile too. Yeah. So what specific, what exactly tells you all of that?
The words.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing that's on TV, newspapers, and on the radio is the news. And so the news is what tells you, this has happened, and it's pretty much everywhere. And I really love to watch the news. In fact, I watch about 3 different news channels on TV. I switch off between them, listen to news radio in the kitchen, it's always on. And sometimes I can watch news online on my computer, so I'm kind of a news junkie. Now, when I use inspirations from watching the news, I get ideas from doing something that I love. So what's something that has been in the news that you could write about in a story?
people in Haiti died.
Did a lot of people in Haiti die? Yeah, that's right. Because there was an earthquake there, and in Chile too, there was also an earthquake. So you could maybe write a little poem, maybe saying what it would, or a story about what it would feel like to be in an earthquake that big, or how you would feel afterwards. That might be a good idea. So you can use things that you find watching the news and put them to good use in your stories. So what is another thing that's been on the news recently?
The weather.
The weather? Okay. So maybe you could get an idea from the weather. So maybe there's actually a movie called Rainy with a Chance of Meatballs. You could do something kind of similar. And you could do like, remember how we asked that what if question, what if it rained money? Maybe rainy with a chance of money. So you could get an idea from the weather. And yeah, so there would be lots of things, ideas you could get for stories from the news. Learn. So the things you learn in math, and science, and social studies, and writing, all of these will help you come up with stories. So the things that you learn, who would like to tell me what is something you learned last week or this week within these 2 weeks in history or science or math? Who would like to tell me?
Me.
No. Me. Area and perimeter, okay. Area and perimeter. And division, did someone say?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Wow, area and perimeter. You guys are doing some great stuff. It's funny. I was working with some area and perimeter not too long ago. Yeah, so that's very good. And what about science? What have you been learning in science?
We learned about the animals,
And the digestive system. The digestive system. The food.
Animals.
our heart.
So what kind of animals did you learn about?
Bears, frogs, mammals, frogs.
Okay.
Learn about frogs.
What about history?
Nothing.
Social studies.
Yeah, social studies.
The United States. And you did states, I see that outside your room.
United States.
State projects.
United States projects. So what did you do for the United States projects?
We had to do write a report about our state.
We had to pick a book up.
Oh,
We had to
okay.
pick a book up from the library, and then we had to read the book and then write the state flower, the state tree, and everything, and how many bird, and the state bird population, and statehood,
What state are you guys in?
Illinois.
No, what state do you live in?
New Jersey.
Dominican Republic.
I live in the Dominican Republic.
You come all the way to New Jersey for school? That's a big commute.
Wow. So what is the state flower of New Jersey? The purple tulip? Oh, okay. So yeah, that's very interesting. You know, you could use something like the United States projects, learning something interesting about your state. You could write a story about your state or about someone who learns about their state. That might be a fun story. You could write a story about mammals or the food pyramid or area and perimeter and division. There are ways that you could write stories about every single one of these. So for instance, I'm in Washington State and I was actually actually taking a course, Washington State history, and learning all about the state. And a lot of people came to Washington over the Oregon Trail. So as a writing activity, I wrote a little journal entry from the point of view of someone who was on the Oregon Trail. So that would be a fun little activity that I did. And so you can write stories based on the things that you learned about. So who has an idea for a story from something you learned about?
Something I don't know. Why are you looking at me? Just tell her. You could write a story about math.
You could write a story on math. So how could you maybe write a story about area and perimeter?
Someone getting a new bedroom.
Someone getting a new bedroom. That's very good. So maybe someone really wants a new bedroom, but she has to figure out the area and perimeter herself. And until she does that, her parents won't let her get the new bedroom. So that might be a fun story idea. Very good. So the things that you learn can be wonderful ideas. Form opinion. Anyone know what opinion means?
Yes.
Opinion. Opinion means your choice.
Yeah, like somebody who would. Like, if you...
It is kind of like your choice. It's what you think about something. So, does anyone know, looking at this picture, what do you think this girl's opinion is about the fish nugget?
She don't like it.
She don't like
No,
She don't like it.
She probably doesn't like it. Look, because she's plugging her nose, she looks like that. So, if you do that, that means you probably don't like the food. If you did that every time you liked food, that would be kind of weird. So, form an opinion. Hearing something on the news, what do you think of it? You can ask yourself that. Forming an opinion can be a great way of getting new ideas for stories. Tell your idea for a story to someone else and see what they think of it. And finally, write. So, this is the time for us to begin writing our own story based on a what-if question. So remember those what-if questions we came up with? Well, we are going to go back over there and see which one we want to write about. So, we're going to vote. The choices are squirrels fly to space, if all fish could walk, every time you notice something that someone pop up, what if it rained money, what if people could fly, languages could pop into your head. So, raise your hand if you want to vote for squirrels fly to space. Raise your hand if you want to vote for all fish could walk. Raise your hand if you want to vote for every time you didn't have something to do, something would pop up and you could do it. Okay, raise your hand if you want, what if it rained money? Raise your hand if you want, what if people could fly? Raise your hand if you want, what if languages could pop in your head? I think we know what we want to do. Yeah, it looks like everyone went for what if it rained money, right? This group just really wants money here, it looks like. Oh, by the way, my desktop, this is the Space Needle in Seattle. That's kind of near, where I am, I'm in Redmond, Seattle. Anyway, so let's get started right. The first thing, what grade am I in? I am in 8th grade, but I skipped a grade and I'm doing some high school work too. So, let's start off with characters. Characters, anyone know what characters are?
People you make up.
People you make up.
Very good.
Here's the story.
The characters, yeah, the characters are the people in the story. So who are our characters going to be? Who would like to come up with some names? For what if money rained from the ground? What are our characters going to be?
Stefani.
Damien.
Joe.
Let's start with Joe the weatherman. So this is the person on TV who does the weather. Let's come up with another character.
Damien.
Katie. Devani.
Damien.
Okay, so I heard Katie. What does Katie do?
The nurse.
The wet. Katie. The nurse said, what does she do? The news.
Okay.
She's the one that
Katie's
makes stuff. She's
And
the one that...
Devani.
Damien.
Devani.
let's think.
Devani. Kevin.
Let's think of a name for. Let's think of a name for a bank. Somebody who works in a bank. What would their name be?
Deanna.
or Miss A will call on one person. Good night, honey.
Hello, Randy, answer the question. Randy, come up forward. Come up front. Where's your mic? Where is she at?
Can you ask the question again?
Sure. What would be a good name for somebody who works the bank?
Joe.
We already have a Joe. We have Joe the weatherman.
Jim Baker.
Jimmy Baker.
General Baker. Nice name. Okay. General Baker.
Jim.
Oh, Jim Baker. Okay.
Jim Baker.
Alright, here we go. Here are characters. Joe the weatherman, Katie's nurse, and Jim Baker works at the bank. So, now let's think of our setting. Does anyone know what the setting is? What is the setting?
In New Jersey.
Setting.
When it takes place.
Where it takes place. Great. So where do you think our setting for this story should be?
Yorkshire School.
I'm sorry?
Yorkshire School. Yorkshire School.
How do you spell that? Okay, Yorkshire. Oh, okay. Sorry, I heard Yorkshire, so I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, I always, the audio over the video comments and times gets a little broken up, so that's, yeah. Great, so Yorkshire School. Okay, and so we have to one more character who's a student then. What do you think the student's name should be?
Say your name loudly.
Jamia.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Jamia.
Oh, okay. Jamia is a student. Very good. So you have our characters, the setting is the Yorkshire School. Now, what do we think happens in this story? What should happen in the story? So we know that money should start raining from the ground, but then what do people do?
Jamila looks out the window and there's Benjamin.
Okay, so
Jamila wants to buy something.
okay, so it was a rainy Thursday morning at the Yorkshire School, and Jamia was riding on the bus as usual. When it came to the school a little early, so instead of going in with all the other kids, Jamia went to the playground to play on the swing. She started getting drenched and realized that maybe being outside in the rain wasn't so fun after all. She was about to go inside when something papery hit her on the head. She turned around, thinking that someone had maybe shot a paper airplane at her, but there was nobody around. Just a crisp, what amount of money should it be?
$100.
Okay.
$100.
Just a crisp $100 bill lying on the ground. Alright. Jamia gasped in amazement and quickly picked it up before it became soaked. But she needn't have worried because the wet rain had turned to dry mud and it was falling fast. In the weather station at what is your local TV channel?
Fox, one person. Say Fox 29.
Fox
29.
Okay, Fox 29, great. In the weather station at Fox 29, and actually, in that case, you probably have your weatherman's name wrong, but well, Joe, the weatherman, was preparing for live television when he got a startling bulletin. Raining money near Yorkshire School.
I shove it.
My goodness, Joe said. I'll have to include that in the forecast. 30 seconds to live TV, the cameraman reminded him. Joe quickly put in a note about the raining money and started talking. In his office at the bank, Jim Baker was watching TV. He was on a much-needed break after a long morning, and he always liked to see the weather forecast. It's going to, let's see, there's going to be an unusual thing, there's an unusual weather occurrence today, folks. Joe the weatherman said, it's raining money over by Yorkshire School. What? The banker shouted and jumped up from his seat. I'll have to go over and investigate. So, why might the banker not like that it's raining money? Or do you think he would like it? Do you think he'd like it or not like it?
Not like it. Not like it.
Not like it or like it. Well, maybe you could think this. The banker's thinking, if everyone has so much money, then how will that affect like money in other places? It's sort of confusing. But anyway, maybe he would like it because maybe he's saying the bank needs to get their hands on all this money. So that could be a question. And when Katie the nurse was washing her hands and preparing to see another patient when a doctor rushed in. Did you hear that? On the news, it's raining money. Alright, so let's read what we have so far. It was a rainy Thursday morning at the Yorkshire School, and Jamia was riding on the bus as usual. It came to the school a little early, so instead of going in with all the other kids, Jamia went to the playground to play on the swing. She started getting drenched and realized that maybe being outside in the rain wasn't so fun after all. She was about to go inside when something papery hit her on the head. She turned around thinking that someone had maybe shot a paper airplane at her, but there was nobody around, just a crisp $100 bill lying on the ground. Jamia gasped in amazement and quickly picked it up before it became soaked, but she needn't have worried because the wet rain had turned to dry money, and it was falling fast. On the weather station at Fox 29, Joe the weatherman was preparing for live television when he got a startling bulletin. Raining money near Yorkshire School, it said. My goodness, Joe said, I'll have to include that in the forecast. 30 seconds for live TV, the cameraman reminded him. Joe quickly put in a note about the raining money and started talking on TV. In his office at the bank, Jim Baker was watching TV. He was on a much-needed break after a long morning, and he always liked to see the weather forecast. There's an unusual weather occurrence today, folks, Joe the weatherman said. It's raining money over by Yorkshire School. What? The banker shouted and jumped up from his seat. I'll have to go over and investigate. Katie the nurse was washing her hands and preparing to see another patient when the doctor rushed in. Did you hear that on the news, Katie? It's raining money. So everyone hears this, maybe everyone rushes over, and then what do you think happens? Well, we're going to end it there, and I will let you continue on your own time. So what I'm going to do is post this on my website, on my blog. So if you go to adorisfeetalk.com, that's my website. Let me just type it in, adorisfeetalk.com, and go to blog. You can see this story, and you can continue it yourself. So Adoris blog.
Can you ADORA?
SVITAK. Yep.
Whoa. Say that again.
ADORA.
Okay.
SVITAK.
SVITAC.
TAK.
TAK. Got it.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so you guys should definitely continue this, and I look forward to seeing maybe if you put an interesting ending on it. Yeah, so now if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Are you happy you write stories and poems?
Am I happy to write stories and poems? Yes, it is one of the most amazing feelings in the world to be able to just write, because it's fun getting all your ideas out on paper and being able to share them with the world. It's a very fun experience.
Yes.
Where do you get your ideas from?
Where do I get my ideas from? Good question. Well, I get my ideas from all of the things that we just talked about in that presentation. So from the news, from what I learned, from the weather, even from travel, all of those things I get my ideas from observing. Yeah, so that's where I get my ideas from. By the way, I forgot to ask you guys, what's one thing you learned today?
The settings.
What setting is? And character, very good. So characters are people in a story, and setting is the place where your story is set.
That writing books is fun.
That writing books is fun. It is very fun, and you should definitely try it. And let's get one more thing you learned today.
What if?
What if? You can use what if questions to come up with fun ideas for your writing. Very good. Okay, we can get back to questions and answers now. If you have a question for me, you can go ahead.
Question.
I learned that making stories are fun.
Making stories is fun. Yes. Will you guys ask me a question?
How did you become being an author? Does it feel like an excitement to be an artist and stuff?
It does, very much, because you know that you're able to get all your ideas out and share them, and it's a really great feeling because it is both fun to be able to write every day and also to be able to publish books.
What school do you go to?
What school do I go to? I go to the Washington Virtual Academy. So it's an online public school, and the reason I go to an online public school is because that allows me to travel, and it also lets me take some high school classes.
I got one. How did you become an author?
How did I become an author? Well, it started because I really loved writing for a long time. I started writing when I was 4 years old, and since then I just really enjoyed doing it. I've done it pretty much every day, and I wanted to get some of those stories I'd written published, and so I sent the manuscript off to lots of different publishers. A lot of them rejected me, and finally there was one that was interested, and so they published my books.
Oh, I got one. Stop. Who inspired you to be an author?
Who inspired me to be an author? There were lots of people who inspired me. I would say all the authors that I read, all the books that I read, their authors inspired me a lot. And my family inspires me a lot and gives me lots of inspirations for my writing as well.
What's your favorite book?
What's my favorite book? Oh, you know what? I have so many of them. I love the Chronicles of Narnia, the Harry Potter series, The Giver by Lois Lowry, also see around, let me give you the tour. So this is a map, and that actually over there is a refrigerator. If you can see that, that's a refrigerator. And over there is the laundry room. Yeah, so lots of interesting things around here. And I'll show you one more thing, and that is this map over here, which I'm going to zoom into. So if you take a look, this is where I am right now, is Washington State. I'm on right here.